Tonight we start talking about ways to solve absolute value equations. We've talked about solving absolute value inequalities, so actually this section is going to be a little bit easier. One way that we can solve absolute value equations is by graphing, and we have two different ways of doing that. If our equation is already set to equal 0, like this one, so everything's on the left side and it's equal to 0, all we have to do is graph that and then look for the roots, if you remember that from the quadratics unit, or where it crosses the x-intercept. So that would be one and that would be the other. So our solution to this absolute value equation would be x equals -6 and x equals 2. However, not all equations are set equal to 0. So we can also find the intersection of an equation by graphing the left side and the right side. So if we take a look at this absolute value equation, we have the absolute value of x minus 1 equals 3. So the left side refers to everything on the left side of the equal sign, and the right side is everything on the right side of the equal sign. What we're going to do is we're going to kind of split it and graph each as its own separate graph. So y equals the absolute value of x minus 1. Oops, sorry about that. And y equals 3. So when we do that, we take our two equations. The absolute value is in green, and the the right side is in blue. And you can see that the two equations cross at those 2 points. So our solution would be x equals -2 and x equals 4. We don't even have to worry about the y values because we're only solving for our x's. The final option is to, if for some reason our equation doesn't fit on our graph, like this one, where we have 2 times the absolute value of x plus 1 plus 4 equals 14. Graphing the right side of this equation won't fit because y equals 14 is going to be way up here. So what we can do is kind of what we've been doing in solving inequalities, which is getting our absolute value by itself. So we subtract 4 from both sides. We divide by 2, and that gives us a nice kind of cleaned up absolute value equation, where now we'll proceed the same exact way. We'll graph the left and we'll graph the right, and wherever they intersect will be our solution. And there you go. All right, so what I want is for you guys to try this one on your own. Um, Notice that this one is not set equal to 0, so the first option is probably not the best one. And so we probably want to make two equations to graph this, one from the left and one from the right. What I'd like for you guys to do is to pause the video here, give it a try, and then see if you get what I get. Okay, so hopefully you've had some time to work that out. And remember that when we graph an absolute value, we shift to the right 3 and down 2 in this case, and then this is just a regular old line with a slope of 2 and a y-intercept of 1, and they intersect right at that point, so our solution would be x equals 0. Again, keeping in mind that we do not have to graph anything with, or we don't have to solve for a y, just for an x value. And that's it.